Shabbat Shalom again. One of the most meaningful rituals for me during our Friday evening Kabbalat Shabbat service is to stand next to B'nai Mitzvah when they help to lead Shema or Ve'ahavta. To stand next to one of our remarkable young adults who gives of his time and his energy so many Shabbatot to lift our prayer. First, it's affirming to see their proud parents, their grandparents, and their other family, to watch their child lead before the congregation. It's wonderful, too, to observe the congregation join with our students, knowing that some in attendance, including our clergy and teachers, have witnessed that child's growth over the years. Even more so, it's heartwarming to hear these students standing on the precipice of Jewish adulthood publicly proclaim Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha. You shall love your God with all your heart, and with all your soul, and with all of your might. Just as much as I hope B'nai Mitzvah internalize that commandment and choose to live with their Judaism in their heart and in their soul, as one classic commentator interprets, to the utmost in any way that you are able, we all too should hear the prayer as an invitation for us. The prayer is our weekly, or for some Jews, daily invitation to fully live our Jewish values and to do what Judaism requires of us to the utmost, always. Ve'ahavta is therefore a regular reminder that every decision we make and every action we take, the ways we respond to life, really matters. More about that in just a moment. But first, let's look at this week's Torah portion, Parshat Vayeshev. The portion begins the well-known Joseph story cycle, which will continue until the very end of the book of Genesis. You know the tale, thanks in part to Tim Rice and Andrew Lloyd Webber. Joseph, that was the joke, you were supposed to laugh. Joseph, the gifted son of Jacob and his beloved Rachel, is hated by his 11 brothers. When Jacob gives Joseph a beautiful coat of many colors, demonstrating Jacob's favoritism, the other brothers decide that they've had enough. And so they plot to do away with their annoying little brother, Henry. I meant Joseph. While they were all together out in the field one day, tending to Jacob's flock, the brothers plot to murder Joseph and to throw his body into a pit. But when Reuben, one of Jacob's eldest, heard the plan, he stood up for Joseph, saying, "Let us not strike him a mortal blow." Reuben said to them, "Do not shed blood. Throw him into this pit here in the wilderness, but do not lay a hand on him." Heroic actions indeed, but there's more. The anonymous voice of Torah adds that Reuben's intention was to restore Joseph and eventually be able to bring him back alive to their father. Thus his plea for the brothers not to kill Joseph, only to toss him into a pit, so when they were all done with their fun, Joseph would be returned home. Okay, you're the midrashists. What's the problem with that statement? How is he going to get home? In the back? Joseph's going to tell Dad. Good. Nothing more to say. You're right, Pam. So here's the problem as I see it. Reuben doesn't actually do anything. Sure, he stands up for Joseph, momentarily rescuing him from the other brothers, but Reuben doesn't actually do anything in accordance with what the biblical authors perceive to be his motivation, to return Joseph alive to his father Jacob. Rather than killing Joseph, the brothers strip him of his coat and throw him into the pit that Reuben pointed out. But then a tribe of passing Ishmaelites purchased Joseph for 20 pieces of silver, a plan that Judah devised with the other brothers' consent. While Reuben was able to stop the brothers from murdering Joseph, he ultimately fails to ensure that Joseph would be returned to Jacob. Remember, that's what the Torah suggests was his intention for speaking up in the first place. But as the saying goes, talk is cheap. As one rabbinic story explains, if Reuben sincerely intended to return Joseph to Jacob, then Reuben would have carried Joseph on his shoulder and brought him to his father. He would have actually done something. After all, actions speak much louder than words. Accordingly, our rabbis taught when a person does a mitzvah, she should do it with her whole heart, with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all of your might. A whole self approach to living life according to the tenets of our faith. In his essay against half-heartedness, Rabbi Shai Held asks, why is it so hard to respond to life with everything we have? Rabbi Held goes on to respond to his own question by citing the work of a great Musar master, explaining, our problem is that we don't believe that every single action we take really matters. We forget, or we fail to internalize in the first place that there is, in this rabbi's words, eternity in every action, however seemingly minor. This Musar master argues is the source of our deepest, I said don't shush them. Thus, this Musar master argues this is the source of our deepest spiritual and interpersonal failings. The whole of Torah testifies to and teaches this foundation, the enormous significance of each and every action. I understand that I'm preaching to the choir here. You who are here on a Friday evening celebrating Shabbat in community, as well as those who are viewing later. To you, Eunice and Jim, who immerse yourselves so profoundly and authentically in meaningful Jewish learning and spirituality. To you, Linda and Howard, who will honor in just a few moments, who have dedicated your lives to service here in this community, supporting this Jewish community and beyond. You are all exemplars for us. And I also know that each of us, and that's me included, has room to grow in our practice and observance, a process of rededicating ourselves to our soul work each and every day. Not only are we reminded to take on Jewish living with our whole selves in this week's Torah portion and in the regular Ve'ahavta prayer, but we are just days before the holiday of Hanukkah, which means dedication. The holiday invites us to rededicate ourselves every year to our practice, to live up to the bravery of Judah Maccabee in defending our faith always, and to do all that we can to participate and to model the beauty of our tradition for ourselves and for others. As Hanukkah invites, we are to share the light of the Chanukiah with the world. Hanukkah lights are not for studying, for cooking, or even for our own enjoyment. Rather, we're instructed to light the menorah and the window for the sole purpose of Pirsum Hanes, to publicize the great miracle that the candles represent for all those who pass by. Literally shining light onto the world and demonstrating a commitment to joyful, productive, and empowering Jewish living. As Rabbi Held concludes in his essay, it is a religious imperative to believe in our ability to act and to impact the world in significant ways, and that we are obliged to recognize that the moment and the task before us, no matter how seemingly trivial, is important. Our actions matter. Embodying our tradition and representing what Judaism offers in everything we do matters. May we continue to walk in those ways. Ken Yehirat Zon, may our actions merit that coming true. Shabbat Shalom.